Do you feel like your photos are all over the place? You are inspired by everything, dreamy edits, moody black and whites, warm tones. But when you look at your own work, it doesn't really feel like you. Today I'm going to give you practical, actionable advice to figure out what really feels aligned with you. And in order to do that, we are going to use a framework called 7 C's of photography. So if you are someone who would like to discover their visual voice and would like your work to be more recognizable, this one is for you. I think especially when you are starting photography, you are still learning. And you are comparing your work to all the amazing photographers whose work you see on social media. I know how it feels and it can be really confusing. But before we go into it, what is a photography style? Your style is the visual language of your work. It's the consistent feel, mood, and personality that runs through your images, regardless of the subject or camera. It's not just about presets and colors. It's about how you see the world and how that shows up again and again in your work. To me, photography style is when someone says, "Wow, that really looks like your work," without your name being even attached. It takes time to develop, but when it starts emerging, it will guide you how you shoot, how you edit, or even how you choose your project. So now that we know what photography style is, I'm going to walk you through a simple exercise to find out what style really resonates with you. Step 1. Start by collecting images or even photographers whose work draws you in. You can find inspiration anywhere: Pinterest, Instagram, books, magazines, or even your own camera roll. I follow a mix of different types of photographers: dog photographers, food photographers, landscape photographers, family and children photographers. And initially that really confused me because I was even confused what I really like to shoot. But then I realized I was drawn to them for different reasons, or sometimes for the same reasons. And that's okay, let them all inspire you. You don't need to put yourself in a box. I like to save images on a dedicated mood board in my Instagram folder, or sometimes I even use the layout application, which allows me to mock up Instagram grids, including different photos that inspire me, so I can see them together, which is really useful when you are working on a project and you need some kind of like a mood board inspiration or the direction that you would like to take that project. Once you've gathered a little collection, you ask yourself, why do I love this image, or why do I love the work of this photographer? What does it make me feel? Could I imagine myself creating something like this? This part is less about style trends, it's more about tuning in with your intuition and noticing what really resonates. Step 2. Now that you have a handful of images that inspire you, let's break them down. Why do they draw you in? And this is where the 7 C's of photography comes in. This is a tool that's used in photography education to understand what makes an image work technically and emotionally. I really like to use this tool to understand the different elements that go into taking that picture, and also realize what are the specific elements and techniques that I like about that picture. To make this really simple for you, I've created a simple template that you can use to analyze your images, the ones that you have saved or even your own work. This will be a really nice reflective exercise. I will link the template in the description box below, which you can download by creating a copy of it. Here is what you will reflect on. Composition. Is the image minimal, layered, centered, or off balance? Clarity. Is it sharp and crisp, or soft and dreamy? Contrast. Bold and dramatic, or gentle and muted? Color. What tones show up again and again? Creativity. Are there unique touches, storytelling, props, interesting angles? Context. Is the image set? Nature, indoors, street, studio? Connection. What emotion does the photo evoke? Is it joy, calm, nostalgia? As you fill out the template, I want you to see what resonates. The goal isn't to label yourself, it's to get curious. You will probably notice themes come up again and again. Let's walk through one of the images I saved to my mood board. This is a stunning photograph by Geyer. The composition. The top is placed slightly off center, surrounded by negative space in the water and forest. There is a beautiful diagonal line created by the blurred treetops that pulls your eye right toward the subject. It feels calm and intentional. The dog is sharp, while everything else is soft and dreamy. especially the background and water reflection. Contrast, there is a lovely mix of contrast here. The golden light on the dog and the water sparkles against the dark shaded forest. It's not overly punchy, it is soft. Color, warm earthy tones dominate this image. Browns, greens and golden highlights. It feels natural. Creativity, what stands out here is the storytelling. The moment is so quiet and cinematic. The lifted paw, the earth, the water droplets. It feels emotional without trying too hard. Context, this is very clearly shot in nature, somewhere peaceful and untouched. And I love how the photographer lets the environment breathe. The white space around the subject adds to that sense of calm. Connection, for me the emotion is wonder, stillness. You can also do this exercise for one of your own photos as well. Choose one that you really love so that you can understand the different elements that went into that image, and you can be more intentional about taking a similar image the next time. But it's also a good idea to do the same for images that you are not necessarily that much in love with, because that means you will be able to identify the points that you don't like that much as well as the ones that you like, but also you can see then what can I improve next time. So let's change this up a bit and then let's try something different. Now let's take a look at one of my own images as another example. So this photo is a quite little moment between Kemi and our dog Demi, and I will walk you through it using the 7 C's reflection template as well. So for the composition here is quite intimate. The two subjects are positioned low in the frame, right at floor level, which helps bring us into their world. Both Kemi and the dog are softly lit, but still sharp in focus. The background through the window is gently blurred, which keeps all the attention right here in this moment. Contrast, there is a softness to the overall contrast. The light coming through the window is diffused, which helps the whole image feel gentle. The color palette is muted and earthy with cool tones from the outfit. Creativity. What makes this creative to me is that it's not posed. It's just a little moment. The way Kemi looking down and then his body is being relaxed. It shows a nice bond between them. Context. We are inside at home on a rainy day. The window gives us just a hint of the outside. Connection. This image to me holds a deep emotional connection. It feels like comfort, safety, and strong sense of trust between the two of them. Doing this helps me notice the kind of mood, colors, compositions I keep coming back to. If you do this for 3 or 4 of your images, you will start to notice some patterns emerging. And that is your visual voice starts to reveal itself. You will start to form a list of things that you love in an image. Step 3. Once you've identified what you are drawn to, it's time to try it for yourself. Take a photo that you love and try to recreate. I know it's controversial whether it is copying someone, but I do believe this is a very valuable learning experience, because when you try to recreate a picture, you are learning new techniques, you are learning what goes into taking that picture. It's not really about stealing someone's works, it's about learning, and I think it's extremely important. And when you are taking the picture, or once you've done with the photo shoot, you can start asking yourself, does this feel natural? Does something feel off? And if so, what is the part that you really don't enjoy? You might be surprised what actually lights you up. For a long time I thought I would love to photograph landscapes and food because I was drawn to those type of images. But when I tried it myself and when I was practicing over and over again, I just felt like it doesn't really spark anything in me. What does make me feel alive is photographing dogs and children and their connection with nature. Style doesn't happen overnight. It evolves with practice, reflection, and time. I know this is not something you want to hear. I am definitely someone who wants to get to the end stage and be perfect immediately. And sometimes it is a challenge for me to slow down and just enjoy the learning process. I know it's a cliche, but it is really about the journey, and you need to find joy in this learning process. Some ways to make learning fun is you can come up with creative projects to try. For example, do a color hunt challenge where you photograph one color for a week and try to capture it in different subjects and compositions. This is something I talked about in my previous video about creating mood with color. It teaches your eye what you are naturally drawn to. Another challenge could be alternate days between where you are filling your frame fully with your subject and the next day you pull back and you include lots of empty space. This will build compositional awareness. Or you can come up with a fun creative challenge where you pick a children's book, a film, a painting that you love, and take a photo that is inspired by it. This will train your creativity and visual voice. The more you shoot, notice, and adjust, your visual identity will start shining through, and you will start to make creative choices that feels more like you. And that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and this little exercise will give you some clarity and gets you closer to what your visual identity really is. If you've tried it, I would love to hear if you found out anything interesting about your style. If you've learned anything from this exercise, please share it in the comments. I would love to hear it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.